welcome back. Old friends, new friends, old enemies. Your views count too. Anyways, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about all of the other injuries I had, kind of how my life is now recovery wise. I'm going to discuss something I found out on Thanksgiving that was new information to me and Lee that I have not written about or talked about publicly yet. And then I'm also gonna, at the end, I would like to address some internet trolls, you know, not really give them attention, but you'll see. But anyways, in the event that this video gets too long, I will put chapters in the description. That way you can just click and, and jump ahead. So as far as my other injuries, I had to make a little outline here because I knew I would forget something. So if you're here, you already know that I had the AOD, which is an internal decapitation. Aside from that, I tore both carotid arteries and both vertebral arteries. They weren't severed, but they were all torn, and I was bleeding into my neck. I had a left, let's see if I can get my shirt up. That's what it looks like today. My arm was actually almost cut off. I had a severe laceration in my left arm that also went into my breast. I actually did not break or fracture my humerus at all, but it just decimated everything else right there. And I had a bad brachial plexus injury, which is like the major nerve branch in your arm. So my arm was paralyzed for a while, like several weeks. And then I slowly started getting movement back. And now I have I wouldn't say full range of motion, but almost full range of motion. The range of motion is more limited by my neck than anything though. So I had a lot of abdominal injuries. I have a huge scar across my stomach where I hit the guardrail. Pretty much all of my abdominal organs were bruised or bleeding. I had severe bruising on both lungs. I had my pancreas, spleen, liver, small intestine, all bleeding. I had large hematomas on my adrenal glands. I also broke my back in 3 places. I have L3, 4, 5 fractures, and the only intervention they really had to do for that was just put a drain in, but I'm lucky that it was they're transverse process fractures. I don't know much about them. I don't think I have any. I mean, I had a lot of back pain before being a paramedic, but I wouldn't say I have new back pain from those injuries. But it's funny because that's always an afterthought. Even myself and my husband, when we're talking about this, we always forget that I broke my back in 3 places. It's like, how bad do you have to be hurt to forget that you broke your back in 3 places? That's how bad I was hurt. What else? I had a right tibial plateau fracture. I'll put a picture right here. I've had 4 or 5 surgeries for that. It was a severe fracture, and the reconstruction or the injury itself caused a lot of nerve damage. And so even now, I think it's 15 months later, the top of my leg and my foot is mostly numb. It was like completely dead. I had drop foot, but that's corrected since then. But I have decreased sensation on that leg from that. This knee surgery I just had was like my 4th or 5th surgery on just the one leg. I'll insert a picture here of what my leg looks like currently. I just had 56 staples removed from my last surgery. I think that was all for the initial injuries. And then if you saw our part 2, Then you saw where I had the delayed hydrocephalus, which leads me into the news I just found out. I've only talked about this to a few people because I don't think I've still fully processed it. For those of you that don't know, my sister is a procurement nurse with the Alabama Organ Center, or Legacy of Hope is her company name. And what that means is when somebody is pronounced brain dead, or they're an organ donor and they have cardiac death, she takes care of the donors and she facilitates where those organs go. And she also is in the OR when they do the harvest, and so that's what she does. She takes care of organ donors. And if you saw, I think it was in our Q&A video, I'll put a card up here, in our Q&A video, I think it was that video, one of our videos, we talked about how I woke up in the OR, but it was the video we did with Stacy. That was the video where she explained I didn't wake up in the OR, I woke up in my room. So what happened when I had the hydrocephalus, I was complaining of a building headache. I quit breathing and I blew both pupils. What happened was my brain had started herniating, which if you are medically inclined, you know that you don't live through that. My pupils blew, I lost my gag reflex, I was losing reflexes, and because of that, it automatically, when the charting is done, it triggers into their system, like Legacy of Hope for the organ donation. So it lets those people know, like my sister, that this patient is now, you need to go evaluate, they're a candidate for organ donation. Luckily, in my case, I was in a coma for like 2 days, and then I started to come around, and I guess it was because they got the EVD in so quick. But in either case, when I found this out on Thanksgiving Day, I asked my sister, have you ever had like a referral come in and then y'all like kick them out because they live? And from what she said, the only time that ever happens is if the referral was like an accidental referral, like it was an outlying hospital that just referred someone incorrectly, or if somebody is discharged on hospice, they go home and pass away on hospice, they are discharged because they're not an organ donor. So in my case, all the correct flags were there. I lost my reflexes, blew my pupils, my brain was herniating, and I was entered as an organ donor, and they actually had to lock her out of their system during that time because I was her sister, and I guess to like protect her, and I don't know, but she was locked out of their system while this was going on because I was actually in there as a referral for organ donation, and that's a heck of a thing to process even all this time later. It's like hearing your own eulogy or reading your own obituary. It's weird. It's weird to process that. Like, I know that I'm a survivor and I've beat the odds, but most people, you know, they fully just can't appreciate how, like, what all has happened. But I'll quit talking about it. But that's something that even my like on Facebook friends, you know, that I've kept updated since all this started, I have not talked about this anywhere, and I really don't know what to say about it. It's as you can tell, I just don't have the words. I can't imagine my husband and my sister Brittany, they were in the room when this was happening, and they heard the doctor saying, you know, she doesn't have a gag reflex, her pupils are blown. They were hearing all this, and they both knew what was going on. So I can't imagine that. That's really difficult to think about. But anyways, moving on. And because of the hydrocephalus, I now have a VP shunt. So those were the initial injuries. As far as like life today, it's been 15 months, I think. And a lot of people are under, I guess because I don't talk about it a whole lot, you know, when you see me, I look okay on camera, you know, and you don't really see, you know, me struggling with anything on the YouTube video. But a lot of people they have the misconception that I'm recovered. While my recovery has been amazing and unexpected, I'm not 100%. I still have issues. My neck, I have constant pain in my neck. Very little range of motion in my neck. I have neuropathy in both of my feet from nerve damage. My spinal cord wasn't severed, but it was stretched. And so I have a lot of weird symptoms, like different spots of my body that I can't feel, or increased pain in certain spots, mostly in my feet, knees down pretty much. I have a lot of pain. Like I can't tell the difference between hot and cold water on my feet. I've had multiple surgeries since I've been home over this past year. So it's, you know, it's been constant PT or surgery or recovering from surgery. 15 months later, you know, it's a long process. Anybody that's had severe injuries like that, they know that you don't just go home and you're better. It's quite a process. I have neuro checks every month with my neurosurgeon because it's possible I'm gonna have to have another neck surgery, which I really don't want to talk about because that's my biggest fear, and I don't want to talk about that right now. But I do see my neurosurgeon pretty much every month. Because of the VP shunt, I'm now at higher risk for some kind of infection in my brain. So we were told anytime I have, you know, a headache or I've got a fever or I'm just sick, that I really need to have my shunt checked. And that involves an ER trip and a CT scan to check the shunt, or else, you know, my sister again, who is the procurement nurse, she's had several donors who had VP shunts, and that was their cause of death, was a shunt problem that went unchecked. So I think I've been to the ER 3 times so far to have my shunt checked when I've had really bad headache, vomiting, stuff like that. And so far it's all been fine. I have significant balance issues. Was kind of unaware of that really until one of my neuro checks. They had me like walk in a like heel toe fashion, and I couldn't even take one step. So when I am out walking, I have a cane to help with that. But right now I'm in a wheelchair, as you can see from this knee surgery. No walking for me right now. So yeah, that's all the other injuries I had, and I spent three weeks in rehab, which we haven't really talked about yet. But it's been a journey, not just a physical journey. It's been a mental journey. Some days like I feel really happy and, you know, on cloud 9 and just so grateful and in love with life and love with my family. And then, you know, the next day it could be, you know, complete opposite. You know, you're just in the pits of despair. And luckily And those for me don't last too long right now, but if you come across this video or you have a loved one that's been through, you know, some kind of trauma like that and they're having a hard time, I can't tell you what will make it better for you because we're all different, but I can tell you to hang in there because there will be a good day on the horizon. And it's so hard to, when you're having the bad days, it's so hard to just see through that fog on the other side, but it will come. And when you have those great days, just cherish them, hang on to them, write about it, write it down, so that when you're having that bad day again, you can look back and know that it's a good day is coming again. It's not all bad. It's all difficult, but it doesn't have to be all bad. My recovery is going to be different from your recovery. So what works for me may not work for you. The only thing I know that I can say is that it's going to ebb and flow. You're going to have highs, you're going to have lows. And for me, when I'm in the lows, I just, I do my best to hang on to the fact there's a good day around the corner, and that helps me get through. Every day I wake up, I usually, you know, like, I don't know if everybody else does this, but when I get up in the morning, I check all my social medias and see if there's anything major. And YouTube is, there's a creator studio that you can click on the back end of YouTube to see your latest comments or whatever. And almost every day, I get comments about my weight. The one I got this morning, my son actually deleted it, but I was gonna save it and show you, but the username, mind you, most of these comments are people with no profile picture and some weird username. Like this guy's username, and I'm not kidding, was like Jack Me Off 2527 or something like that. And the profile picture was a skull. I have the email. Yeah, I still have the email notification, so I can put that in here. But he said, the comment was something about throwing yourself on a guardrail with 200 pounds of extra body weight. But every day it's some internet troll who comments on my weight. And what I would like to say about that is not necessarily to them. I'm going to talk to you for a minute like I would talk to my daughter, or like I would talk to myself 10 years ago. I'm a 38-year-old woman. I'm happily married. My husband loves everything about my body and tells me every day. And of course there are things about my body I wish I could change, but I'm proud of my body. My body has been through literal hell and back, and I'm still here. I'm happy. So those comments, they don't bother me. Like, and it took all this time for me to realize that and understand that no human being who is happy with themselves and who is successful in life leaves comments like that. So it really says everything about those people and nothing about me. And if you are at a place in life where those kinds of things bother you, if there's one thing I could go back and change years ago about myself, it would be to not be scared to be myself unapologetically from every angle, from all of your bad angles. Be yourself. And who cares? Those people like don't give them another thought. Like, it sounds so easy, but it's so hard to do for some reason. It's so hard for women to do that, but it took me almost dying over and over again for me to really appreciate just my life and appreciate what it's like to be me and be myself, and really just not care in the slightest what other people think. Of course, it feels good to hear good things, but you've got to come to a place sometime in life where you don't let other people hold you back or affect you in a negative way. And I would give anything to have learned that all these years ago. I hope that's something that I can instill in my daughter. If you are a girl in your 20s, early 30s watching this, if you don't take away anything from my story, take that with you. Like, screw those people, especially men who want to talk down to you, raise their voice at you, and troll you on your comments. Block them and move on. They are not worth it. My daughter has seen me get very feisty with a man overstepping before, and that's one thing we don't do. We do not let men raise their voices at us, and we do not let men talk down to us. Not in person, not on the internet, and we definitely don't give a damn what their opinions are. So if you want to leave comments, nasty comments, you go right ahead, because I can assure you that in my house we're good. It says everything about you. If you have any questions or topics you would like me to cover, drop a comment and I'll do what I can. Maybe we can get Lee back soon. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover tonight. I wanted to show you real quick what I got from my friend, my new friend Rachel in London. She sent me Percy Pig socks, a really great book. She sent me a Christmas ornament, and this is a mug from her favorite coffee shop, and my favorite is a pig in a blanket. How stinking cute is that? Thank you, Rachel. That made my day. But what I really want is Sam, the dog Sam Winston, whatever. That's what I really want. I will put my P.O. box in the description in case you want to send me something silly for me to open. But anyways, I hope y'all had the best Christmas and a great New Year's, and just thank you for all the support, and yeah, we'll see you later.